Statement, and then please raise your hand. We'll get the microphones to you, and I'll call on you for questions. Coach?
Obviously very pleased with the win.
Here we go.
Very pleased with the win. Obviously the first quarter was very poor football on our end. You also want to give credit where credit's due. And that's Meyer did a really good job defending a certain formation that we're in. That's really our base formation, which is concerning down the road. We just got to make sure we make quicker adjustments, which we made some halftime adjustments. But they have some good players at quarterback. We were concerned going into the game that the future NFL football player will be hard to just contain because he's going to throw the ball, he gets it out real fast, can't really get to him. And that's exactly what happened. But I think one of the things about Braxton Miller that I really had to see, and I did see today, is that the objective with Braxton is to make him from an athlete playing quarterback to a quarterback that manages, and that quarterback position is a unique position in all sports, where he's got to manage so much. He's got to manage basically the entire offense. He's got to stay positive, his leadership, he has to be a leader, and he showed that today. I told him in the middle of the second quarter because he started, he kept positive even when it was, we all saw what it was. And so I'll certainly answer your questions for you.
Clay?
How big a play was the Chris Carter-like catch by Devin Smith just to ignite you? And if you would, a second one, how did the reality of this day measure up to what you thought it would be? Not the X's and O's, but the total experience.
Well, unfortunately, not fortunately or unfortunately, whatever it is, but just in our first quarter, I was so embarrassed when we were playing. We worked so darn hard, and we didn't play very well. In all phases, defense let a couple passes go that we should have. To answer your question about that catch, I don't know if Devin's been saving that, but I'm not seeing him do that. So now that I know he can, I expect him to do that. He's actually playing pretty good for us. So that was a wow moment. That was a moment that ignited the stadium. The stadium got quiet, our sideline got quiet, and we were waiting for a play to happen. He went up and made the play, which was, yeah, that's football.
And the day overall?
The day overall was a great day. Hanging on Subi, kicked it off in the fourth quarter, and stared at that for a while, watched it, told a couple people that I know I've never seen it before, check that out. And I just was, it goes back, just a little disappointed in the first quarter. But after that, what a great day, we enjoyed the win. And we all know that it's difficult to win in major college football, so we got one, and now we get ready for next week.
Jared, far right over here.
Urban, I was actually curious, you mentioned the defense a second ago, the fact I think they netted one rush yard, but the big plays, maybe they were able to break those a little bit. Their scheme is to throw it a lot, obviously. Is that just sort of one of those they're just going to get to you eventually, or anything that broke down?
No, the big ones, no. The short ones, yeah, absolutely. You have to rally up and make the receiver pay a price, and you every once in a while have to blitz it. The quarterback, they can pay a price. That's how you defend passes. And we did that as we developed a little bit. But no, there's no excuse for a play. One was a blown coverage, the one down the far sideline, Miami sideline, and there was one that went right through the middle of our defense. So there's no excuse for that whatsoever. However, you're going to give up some yards if they're going to decide to throw every down, and they're good at it. They're going to throw every down. He'll throw for a lot of yards and be an NFL player.
Bo over here on the right.
Urban, the way that it started, obviously, in the first, not the way you wanted. What do you think there was just maybe too much emotion for your guys? I mean, everybody obviously bouncing around. I know you were excited before the game. Was it possible that that's what happened out of the gates that kind of derailed a little bit? Can you be a little too emotional to start a game?
No, I don't. I think you can, but I've never really talked about that. I think emotion is one of the great things about college football. If you get too emotional in baseball and you're going to attack it, you have to keep your mindset in baseball. Football, you can go. You can let it, hit the guy harder and play a little harder and go. And two things. I think without watching the film yet, I don't know how well we played, but I think once again, give them credit. They were doing a certain thing that was too complicated with the linebackers and moving right to where we're running this play. So they had you have 10 months to prepare for a game and a lot of film to watch. They prepared very well, so that's what happened in the first quarter.
Left over here, Jason.
Can you just sort of give me a quick assessment of Braxton throwing the ball, and also kind of related to that, the receivers coming into the season, there were some questions about them. It looked like Braxton had a couple of jump balls that guys went up and obviously Devin, but other guys as well went up and made some pretty nice catches on some jump balls.
Yeah, he didn't throw as well as he's been throwing in practice, so I anticipate that he will. He's 14 to 24. That's not good enough for what we expect out of him. And I saw a couple of the curveballs he threw down the field, and a couple of times I had a hard time gripping it. but he'll get better. And, I think you saw a couple glimpses of how accurate a passer he could be once we give him time and he settles in a little bit.
Over here to the right, Tim.
Yeah, we're talking about Carlos Hyde, see if it kind of come off, you guys get going there when you need to in the second quarter. And then, just so I want to get the mic back, maybe talk about Travis Howard, Bradley Roby, delivered some plays at cornerback that kind of helped the game along.
Carlos Hyde first, Tim, he was a guy I'm disappointed he didn't get 100 yards. I thought he would. We were going to kind of feature him a little bit today. They were forcing some of those big runs that Braxton Miller had with tailback runs. So he's reading a certain player on the defense. If they overreact, sometimes it's an end, sometimes it's a linebacker. So a few carries got taken away because Miami made a decision to force the quarterback to run and then have extra defensive players where they were, and that's what happened early in the game. We got a couple formations later, the big one, where we kind of out formation a little bit. We put that was a great sideline adjustment. We our halftime what we did is we put all our players in the boundary and ran that was that 90 or 80 yard run, whatever he had. The two other guys, so Carlos Hyde he's going to be our featured back here for a while. Did a nice job. Roby and Travis Howard, Coach Fickle just called out Travis Howard as one of our players of the game on defense. This is obviously prior to watching the film, but and I love Travis. Really got a lot of respect for him, but he was not a great player last year. He was not great, and he's got great ability. So a kid with great ability that doesn't play great, there's a problem. Something's out of alignment there, and I can see it happening right now. That kid's turning into a very good player.
To get that big play off the punt game, Bradley Roby, the high snap and stuff, that's things you guys are going for.
Well, that's our punt block unit, and we're trying to create a lot of angst in the long snapper and also the punter knowing that they're coming, and there's a lot coming. And the guys that are coming are good players, so we didn't get one, and that's disappointing because they changed their whole punt protection because I think they knew we were going to come after it. But that was just a lot of momentum that kind of flipped the game when that occurred.
Far left, Doug.
Urban, you said that you were glad that Braxton was able to stay positive through stuff. How were you in the first quarter? Were you confident that you guys would find it, or were you getting frustrated with the offense for the first 4 drives?
Well, I just wanted to know what was happening, because I knew they were doing something on defense, and we'll meet as a staff. We have to do better, see what exactly was happening. But no, I'm not as positive as Braxton was. And it's nice to have your quarterback stand right with you and say, here we'll be fine. And I just liked his demeanor. So no, that was very disappointing. The first quarter was. I'm not sure we were at 5 yards, probably something. Lost yardage plays and just lack of production. Overthrown ball here. Just that was not a good first quarter, obviously.
Far right over here, Austin.
Urban, you talked a lot about the attitude that Nate Williams has had, trying to come back from that injury. How gratifying was that for you to see and then evaluate what he can do physically today?
Yeah, I love Nate. I love the fact that he's a warrior, that he loves Ohio State, that he's doing the best he can. And I like the fact that Coach Fickle and Coach Greg had enough confidence getting the game. Played more snaps than I thought he would. So it must have been he felt good. And he had a big smile on his face and knocked the rust off him. Because he hasn't practiced a whole lot. I'll let you know how he played on next week's press conference.
Far left, Paul.
Urban, first quarter aside, was there a moment where you allowed yourself today to take off the headset, so to speak, and just kind of soak in your return to all this?
Yeah, I think the end of the third quarter when we were playing fairly well. And then for years and years, I've always remember the change of the third and fourth quarter, what happens in that stadium. And that's about it, though.
Doug,
if you could take us through the last play of the first half there, had a chance to be kind of a deflating play, but yet you came out second half real strong.
Yeah, Ohio State should be able to knock it in from the one. That's very, I almost forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. That's bad. That's absolutely non-negotiable nonsense, and we'll hit that with a sledgehammer on Sunday. Because that can't happen. And I just flat looked at the lineman and I don't know what happened. I couldn't see. But the Ohio State University with a 220-pound, 230-pound tailback just smashed it in from the 1 yard line. And that didn't happen without taking any credit away from our opponent. And then the whole world knew we were doing it, but that's part of the deal at the moment. I wanted to see if our line would do it.
Steve?
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask about Braxton, the style of play, running the football that many times, he's going to get smacked around a little bit. He left the game, what was it, third quarter? I think he had a couple plays, he came off the field. Was it cramps or what is his situation, I guess?
Yeah, we ran Braxton too many times, 17. We like to get in the 10 to 12 range. We like to Very few of those were direct runs. Those are either some were scrambles and some were part of the run read game. We had to read some defensive players. So 17's a lot. I just cramped up. That's a lot of running in that humidity that we experienced today. You'll be fine.
Bill, front here.
When Braxton was encouraging you, I guess, in the first quarter, you know, it's going to be fine. Was it hard for you to maintain that optimism? I mean, you waited a long time to coach here and get this thing going, and it starts out that way. What are you thinking?
Well, I just was trying to fix the problem. You know, instead of just whining or complaining or screaming, we don't do that. We just, what is exactly happening? If I thought it was because they weren't playing hard, then there's a lot of screaming, throwing things and everything else. But it was, they were playing hard, but it was, I think, you know, come back next week. I just think they were doing some pretty good things defensively. We were having some miscues. Some guys were not missing a block here, doing something wrong. So we'll get it next.
Far left, Marlon.
I was just wondering, were you anxious, nervous, anything last night, or just anything you could let on about just the upcoming, you know, the upcoming day? Like
Yes.
Sleep at all?
Yes, I'm pretty good. I like this team. I like these guys. And you like guy, you sleep pretty good. So yeah, I was anxious for the day. I'm glad that the fans enjoyed a decent day. I was worried about the weather and how we would adjust to weather issues, and I just wanted it to be a good day for the Ohio State football, and I believe it was.
So you were just thinking about them and not about you?
I don't think about me.
A couple more questions, Bill, and then Bob.
Braxton left a lot, some completions out there and had some jump ball catches, and yet he put up fantasy league numbers. Can you project off this what he can do?
Well, the biggest thing we had to see is Evan Spencer go up and make a play. We saw Jake Stover make a few. Who else? Philly Brown had a good day. 7 catches, 87 yards. It's good. Devin, the best one I'm so excited about is Devin Smith. You talk about getting it in practice now the last 6 months. He's been getting it, and it works right. Because he has to be a player for us. He's a good dude. Our Tom Herman called him up, and he did play well. And that was, I haven't seen the highlight of it. That's ESPN, right? That's
Oh, yeah. He didn't bring it into the spot.
Is that right?
You missed it?
He needed that. We needed that, but I'm happy for him. Every great athlete at some point has that moment where he becomes, you know, average to good to much better than that. Now, I don't know where he's at in his progression. It's certainly not good to great yet, but I think that guy is being a really good player for us because he has to be. He's got the God-given skills to be a very good player.
Far left, Brandon.
Coach, just wanted to ask you about Zach Warren getting into the end zone. Did you take some great, personal gratification in that?
Absolutely, I love Zach Warren. We had to do that. I'm not sure. I'm curious, how did he do today? You don't even know there. We had a bunch of runs. I think we had 4 or 5 runs early in the game called to me, and the defense gave us where the quarterback told it. But Zach Warren will carry the ball. He's a good runner. He's a good runner, and he's a Buckeye, and he deserves to get it. Was that the first one ever?
His touchdown? Yes, second carry.
Second carry.
Yeah.
First. Second carry of his career. And first rushing touchdown.
Oh, yeah, carry early in the game.
Third all time. First rushing touchdown.
That's good for him. I didn't know. I thought I heard someone say first rushing touchdown. But if you watch him play, he's a nifty guy. And that wasn't a gimme. We'll do a gift every once in a while. That was not a gift. He's a good player.
Last question, Bob.
You look like you're really enjoying the alma mater, and I'm just wondering if that was the one point when you finally got to a point where you could enjoy being the Ohio State coach, just being in the stadium.
Well, I've been enjoying being Ohio State coach for about 7 months now, so that was I don't want to deflate that moment because it's a great moment. I'm holding a bunch of guys I care about, and all of our players. I had 2 good guys next to me, and Goble was to my left. I just looked at him, and I just love that guy. There's a lot of guys on this team I have a lot of respect for. And to do same the alma mater, I'm a graduate, and the fights on, that was a special moment. And we got to see the fights on in the locker room as well. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.